My name is Rachel Morgan, and I'll never forget the look on their faces when they realized everything they thought they stole was already mine. It started in the waiting room of a high-end law firm, the kind with dark mahogany panels, leather chairs that smelled like old money, and oil paintings of stern-looking men no one remembers, but everyone pretends to respect. Across from me, my stepmother Denise was practically glowing with smugness, flanked by her precious children, Tyler and Brooke. They whispered like snakes in silk, already planning how they'd spend the inheritance. Tyler, tapping on his phone, grinned. First thing I'm buying is that yacht we saw in Miami, the 60-footer. Brooke giggled, flipping her platinum blonde hair. I want a place in the Hamptons. Nothing flashy. Just 8 bedrooms, something cozy. Denise chuckled, her red nails tapping Tyler's wrist. Let's handle the formalities, then we can discuss investments. She shot me a glance, the kind that says, "Why are you even here?" I ignored her. I'd gotten used to being the outsider ever since Dad married her. The receptionist appeared. "Mr. Blackwood will see you now." We entered the conference room where James Blackwood, my dad's longtime attorney, sat waiting with a thick file. He tried to keep his face professional, but I caught the slight twinkle in his eye. "Please have a seat," he said politely. "Water, coffee? This might take a little while." Denise waved him off. "Let's move this along. I have a 3 p.m. with my financial advisor."
Of course she did.
Mr. Blackwood opened the file. "First, I'd like to express my condolences. Michael Morgan was my client for over 30 years. Yes, very sad." Denise cut in, barely hiding her impatience. "Now about the will." There was a flicker in Mr. Blackwood's expression, like he was holding back a laugh. "Let's proceed then," he said. I leaned forward slightly. "The will we'll be reading today," he continued, "is dated 5 years ago." 5 years? I asked, surprised. "Didn't he update it?" Denise snorted. "Sweetheart, you don't understand how these things work. Michael and I made everything official after we got married. The estate stays in the immediate family." "Immediate family?" I repeated slowly, my voice calm. "Meaning?" "Meaning the people who were actually there for him, not the daughter who was too busy running her little nonprofit to visit." I bit the inside of my cheek. Because I had visited. She just made sure no one ever saw me. Mr. Blackwood cleared his throat again. "Shall we continue?" "Gladly," Denise said, already smiling. "As I said, I believe you'll find everything quite straightforward. The estate is divided between myself and my children, with a token to charity. Rachel," she added with glee, "gets nothing." The room went still. Denise leaned back in her chair, basking in her imagined victory. That's when Mr. Blackwood chuckled. Not a cough, not a polite smile. A full laugh that echoed through the wood-paneled room. "I'm sorry," he said, wiping his eyes. "That was unprofessional. Mrs. Morgan, do you know what a revocable living trust is?" Denise blinked. "Of course. It's a financial instrument." "Correct," he said. "Do you know when Mr. Morgan created one?" "He didn't," she said confidently. "He only had one child, her." Mr. Blackwood pulled out another folder. "Michael Morgan created the Morgan Family Trust 28 years ago, when Rachel was 10. Denise's lips parted slightly. "He amended it 13 months ago, before any potential interference. This trust is separate from the will and automatically transferred its entire value, over $50 million, to Rachel." "Impossible," Denise whispered. "Rachel," Mr. Blackwood turned to me. "When's your birthday?" 14 months ago, I replied. "Dad threw me a small party. Denise was at a spa." "Ah yes," he nodded. "The same weekend Michael signed the final trust amendment. He wanted everything transferred before complications arose. But the houses," Brooke cried, panic rising. "The cars, the accounts. All held by the trust," Mr. Blackwood said. "Which means they've all been Rachel's for over a year. You've been living in her homes, driving her cars, and spending her money." I finally spoke. "Dad told me to wait. He wanted to see if any of you would change. He gave you the benefit of the doubt." Denise stood, voice shaking. "This is fraud. We'll sue." Mr. Blackwood calmly pulled out another document. Michael had a full cognitive evaluation 13 months ago. Perfect scores. 3 psychiatrists signed off. And he hired a private investigator. I turned to Denise. Would you like to see the reports? Especially the one about how your first husband died from a medication mix-up? The color drained from her face. Now, Mr. Blackwood said briskly, regarding the will, to my wife, Denise Morgan, I leave the sum of $1. To Tyler and Brooke Whitman, I leave the same. He pulled 3 crisp $1 bills from a drawer and laid them gently on the table. I smiled and reached into my bag. Here's something for each of you, I said sweetly, sliding 3 envelopes forward. Eviction notices. You have 30 days to vacate my properties. Denise shot up. I'm his widow. You're a tenant, I replied, living rent-free in homes you never owned. And one last thing, Mr. Blackwood said, handing me an envelope. Michael wanted this letter read aloud. I opened it, my hand steady. My dearest Rachel, if you're reading this, it means everything went as planned. I'm sorry for the secrecy, but I needed to protect you while I learned the truth about Denise.
Thank you for trusting me.
For letting them think they'd won. For being patient while we built your future. To Denise, Tyler, and Brooke, I know what you are. The investigators' reports are with the district attorney. I suggest you use your 30 days wisely. Rachel, you've always been my pride. Take care of the fortune, but more importantly, take care of yourself. All my love.
Dad.
P.S. Your mother's ring is in my desk. Second drawer on the left. When I looked up, Denise was shaking. Tyler looked like he'd seen a ghost. Brooke had started crying, mascara running down her cheeks. There's also a restraining order, Mr. Blackwood added. Filed this morning. Any contact or challenge will result in enforcement. Denise stared at me, voice trembling. You both planned this. No, I corrected.
Dad did.
I just followed his lead. And as I walked out of that law office with my head held high, I finally let myself breathe. The world had underestimated me for years. But my father never did. He knew what I was worth, and he made sure the world would, too.